common misinterpretation of the p-value is that the p-value is the probability that the test hypothesis is true. So for example, if the test of a null hypothesis gives us p equals 1%, then the null hypothesis only has a 1% chance of being true, while if it gives us 40%, then the null hypothesis only has a 40% chance of being true. No, this is false. The p-value assumes that the test hypothesis is true. It's not the probability that the test hypothesis is true, and it might be very far from any reasonable estimate of that probability. The p-value indicates the degree to which the data conform to the pattern predicted by the test hypothesis and all the other assumptions used in the test. So we often have a null hypothesis. Let's say the average outcomes for two treatment groups are the same, along with other assumptions. So the data comes from a normal distribution or other more advanced statistical assumptions. And together, this is what we call the statistical model. Assuming the null hypothesis is true, we then use the statistical model's assumptions to compute the p-value. So it's basically a mathematical exercise that today is done by software, right? A p-value of 1% would simply indicate that the data is not very close to what the statistical model, including the null hypothesis assumed to be true, would predict. In short, the p-value is not at all the probability that H0 or the null hypothesis is true, for the simple fact that to compute the p-value, to obtain a p-value, we always assume that the null hypothesis is true. I'll be making a lot more content on the misinterpretations of p-values for the simple fact that they're very widespread. Everybody uses them in almost all areas of research. You'll find them. And they're actually really tricky to interpret. And I think it's important that non-statisticians who use them on a daily basis learn to be more familiar with the pitfalls and the common misinterpretations, in order to give more credibility to their research and to just feel more confident when they're using statistics. So follow me if that's something that would interest you.